Hi guys, welcome to your face reading channel. This is Nitesh and I'm going to share some amazing face reading insights. In this particular video, what I have for you is why you and your family could think differently. Why you and your mom or dad or even your siblings are different from you. Why they don't think the way you do. All those answers I'm going to share with you within this particular video, wherein I'm going to share some of the elemental insights, the quality that are being displayed by your particular element versus what is different from your mother's or father's element. I'm also going to use my personal examples to demonstrate how beautifully your element answers this particular question as to what could be those modes of differences of your personality versus your family member's personality. And this video is definitely going to help you reconcile your relationships or even improve your relationships better with your family members. So let's deep dive into the magic board to uncover, to unveil all those beautiful secrets of 5 elements and thereby understand how you can make your relationships better with your family members. So let's go straight into the magic board. Welcome to the magic board, guys, and as you could see on the screen, this is the dashboard for this particular video, wherein what I have done is I have written the theme of this particular video as to why you and your family may think differently, or you may display certain sets of behaviors differently. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of my mom's example versus my examples as to how myself and my mom is different or do different things, and thereby you're going to unveil a lot about how elements play its role in real life, right? So let me share with you some of the qualities or some of the behaviors that myself and my mom displays, and this column is what you're seeing as the qualities of the 5 elements, which I have got from the book The Wisdom of Your Face by Jean Hainer. So these are the water qualities. So just to let you be a little more clear, if you haven't gone through the other videos, there are 5 elements. 5 elements represents the 5 forces, and each one of us belong more to one or secondary element in the other element, but most of all the primary element is one to which you'll feel that you'll demonstrate those qualities more, right? So water qualities are qualities that represents wisdom, that represents a sort of courageousness, that represents that you can be fearful. So I'm going to go through all of those qualities or some of those qualities within this particular video, but I want you to just be with me with this particular section, where what I'm going to do is I'm going to share some of the behavioral differences that my mom and I have, and then I'm going to jump over to the water or the other elemental qualities as to why we are different, right? And then you are going to unveil maybe from the aspects of the faces that I'm going to share with you, that why we are different or why you or your parent or your partner could be different. And this is definitely going to be fruitful in terms of understanding why people are behaving a certain way, which can thereby have a decent sense of understanding in you that they belong to this particular element. That is why they are reacting in this particular way. And by the end of the video, you'll also understand as to why people don't change, or why it is very hard for human nature to be changed, or it is often something that is noticed in the relationship. And I have worked with my clients and they also want to change their partners, but eventually the result is nothing, because we all are the byproducts of our nature, our tendencies, our behaviors. And once we understand, recognize and appreciate the differences that we have with our partners, with our family members, we can create a better working environment and we can understand personalities and people better, right? So before wasting any of your time, let me just write on some of the qualities, some of the behavioral differences that my mom and I have, and maybe you also have it with your parents or your partners, maybe, or your children, maybe. So myself being a very strong water element, I like to work in dark environments. Let me just switch on the stylus here, right? So I like to work in dark environments, right? I like to work under the lamp, and I don't want a proper light setting. I feel much better when I'm surrounded by dim light settings. And why I'm mentioning that is because my mom loves lots of lights. She loves a fully lit room. So what happens is, when my mom enters into my living room, she turns on all the lights, and when I come to the same room, and what I do is I basically turn off the lights, as is one of the behaviors that I demonstrate. And this doesn't dark environment doesn't happen only for me within the living room. Even in washroom or restroom, when I go, I may prefer a darker environment, and even a small tunnel of light that is approaching, I can, like, I enjoy that particular thing rather than a fully lit room. And this is again one of the qualities of water element being into motion. So what are the qualities of water element or behaviors of water element people is that they feel strengthened when they are in dark environment setting. Like they like to work in dim environments. The reason why is water is deep, water is mysterious. Water you can imagine as a river, and river has a lot of depth, right? And when there is a lot of depth, there is also darkness in that depth, right? So somewhere, water people love darkness, and metal people, which my mom has in prominence, metal people love lights. Metal people love the kind of white settings in light. And because my mom also has fire into her, so kind of light kind of energizes her very much, and she's very fond of white, which is also one of the colors of metal element. So my mom prefers very lighty environment versus me who prefers very dark environment. So if you have one of those qualities in your parents or around your family members, you'll also observe this pattern into your family, that some of them may prefer darker environment, some of them may prefer a fully lit environment, but it is something that is the nature of their element, right? That is what you'll observe. The other thing which I have different from my mom is that I'm a lot more self-centered versus my mom, who is extremely selfless. And yeah, this is not a very good quality to be self-centered, but that is there because I don't possess that much earth that my mom has. And earth represents the quality of care, the quality of love. And most of the mothers that you see, they have immense love, care, gentleness, the emotion of friendliness with others, and they kind of get fueled when they serve and nourish others, when they mother others, when they are able to nurture them with their food, right? So my mom is a lot more selfless versus me, who is a lot more self-centered, kind of wanting to work in an isolated environment. My mom is also very social, and this also goes well with the earth element person, right? That you want to get yourself into the social environments, and you kind of get fueled when you have friends, when you have lots of friends maybe. So that is the quality of my mom versus me, who is a lot more self-centered, lot less social, I would say, right? And few of my mom's friends also say to her that why is your child like this, and I have the answer to that. But I cannot tell them that it's because of my water element into motion that I'm behaving like this. It's just that once you're with your element, you kind of displace those qualities and those behaviors, and you cannot change it altogether. It's important that you embrace as a parent or as a child that you can have differences in living together, but it's important that you embrace those differences beautifully, because then you can have better relationships with your kid, with your partner, maybe with your parents, maybe, right? So this is one of the other qualities that I feel is different from me and my mom. The other thing is that my mom is extremely diligent on phone calls, right? And she always keeps her phone in the non-silent mode. And what I do is I keep it on silent mode, majorly because I don't want to get disturbed, and I want to get mostly in the isolated environment for my creativity purposes. Again, the aspect of self-centeredness again comes into picture, where my mom is pretty diligent with respect to the urgency of the calls, versus me, who is a lot more carefree and who wants to focus more on my particular work rather than giving priority to others. But that is again one of the features of water element. There are lots of amazing qualities. It says that my mom is so good that she has some extraordinary qualities, and these are all features of earth and metal into her. But then that is where, the differences is something which you can observe. I have worked with a few of my clients whose kids are having strong fire and earth into them, right? The strong fire and earth element kids make them pretty carefree, emotional, make them pretty joyful, passionate. But parents being strong metal element, metal indicates a sense of strive for perfection, indicates a sense of a proud parent, maybe. So when you are interacting with a metal person, or when your, let's say, parent is a metal person, just let me go here and maybe explain it via a little demonstration with respect to the different element of your parents. So let's say you have a metal element parent. So I'm here generalizing because you may have your mom and dad together, so both of their element plays a role into your child's element. But here I'm generalizing that if both your mother and father is having strong metal element and your child is having a fire and earth element. This happened to one of my client, and I'm going to share that particular instance. And so she was strong metal element and her partner was also strong metal. So metal stands for perfection, stands for discipline, right? Stands for staying up to the routine, right? So these are the qualities of metal element. But fire and earth, if your kid has fire and earth as primary and secondary elements, what can happen is it can make your kid pretty emotional. It can make your kid pretty passionate, joyful, non-serious. Those are the things that your children's element can indicate. But the thing is, because you value perfection a lot, you value discipline a lot, you value routine a lot, sometimes what can happen is it can overpower your kids with expectations. And maybe, what can happen is, maybe you like to wake up early at 6 a.m. in the morning and go for a walk, and you want similar things to be done by your kid who is of fire and earth element. Maybe that doesn't go well with them, right? So it's important that you understand what their element is to actually have lesser differences with them, right? So if a fire and earth person who is a lot more playful, who is a lot more follower of maybe not following the routine, that person may establish that guard within himself, that me and my parents are not similar, so I'm not going to talk to them, or I have differences with them. It's important as a parent that you understand that your kid is a strong fire or strong earth. So they have a slightly different way of approaching things. A strong disciplinarian action is not going to work on them. Rather, an emotional approach to make them feel good, to make them feel good about themselves, or if you want to get things done by your kids for you, it's important that you follow a rather non-linear path than a linear pathway from your metal element. So that is very, very important. Now, how you can see fire person or earth person is something that you can watch one of my videos that I have designed from earth to fire. I have told about the 5 elements and how you can spot those elements on the face. But to give you a brief, an earth face could be a one where the lips could be pretty full, the mouth could be pretty full, or the cheek padding, the padding on the cheeks is something which is pretty heavy, or the fire factors or fire features you can see wherein there are sharp features, where there are sharp endings by your lips, by the eye, by the line on the eyes, the ends of the eye points, or the eyebrows are ending pretty sharp, as in this particular way. So that is something that you can see and spot a fire and earth person, but more so you can spot through these qualities that I'm mentioning. So herein I've mentioned as to if you are a metal element person and if you are interacting with a fire and earth kid or a children of yours, then a better approach would be to understand that they are emotional in nature and then feed or design your action plan properly and kind of make them feel loved because they want to feel loved. The other feature that you can observe in people who are emotional or who bears this fire and earth traits in general, you'll observe more curvy features on the face, which means their eyebrows can be a lot more curvy, or their chin could be a lot more curvy. So curvy features are something that indicates a sense of river flow, indicates a sense of emotional approach that people love into their life. So let me give you some other examples. If you are let's say if you are a wood element person, right? And I'm here generalizing wood element coupled with, let's say, wood element person is coupled with an earth element person, and this means let's say these are two pairs, right? And they are in a relationship and they have a kid, right? So wood element and earth element goes pretty well together. Earth actually goes well with any of the elements because earth element gives that sense of nurturing, gives that sense of adaptability, flexibility. It offers the depth of emotions. When you're married with an earth person, they are pretty flexible, adaptable, they kind of tolerate emotions well. So earth people goes well with any of the elements, and this is one of the very important element for a successful relationship. And if you have an earth person as your partner, make sure that you feed them emotionally because they can go beyond themselves to make their life dedicated for you and for your family, even your kids and children. But if you have a wood and earth element person as your pair, as a partner, and maybe you have a kid who is extreme, let's say who is extreme water person, right? So this I'm referring as wood element and earth element as primary elements. Each of us display all 5 sorts of energies that are there. Each one of us have all 5 elements, but it's 1 or 2 elements that displays more kind of qualities into your life, or that kind of acts more prominent into your life, right? So let's say wood and earth is yours feature and your partner's feature, but your kid is a strong water person, and this may answer also one amazing question as to why you may feel closely connected to one of your parents, right? Because somewhere you'll observe that we all are driven towards one parent, not specifically both of them, or we kind of appreciate the quality of one parent more than the other, right? And this also can be one of the answers that you can derive from learning the aspect of 5 elements. One of the books that I would recommend reading on 5 elements is by Gene Hayner. You can search it on Amazon. It's a wonderful book on 5 elements, and 5 elements kind of answers you on everything, but it's important how you're going to use it in your life, right? So I was just talking about a wood element person and earth element person as a partner, and if they have a kid as a strong water element, right? So water element, as I mentioned, could be a lot more dreamy, a lot more mysterious, a lot more maybe intuitive. A water people goes for a very good musician, or they kind of can be very intuitive, flowy, right? Because water by very nature indicates a person's ability with respect to being wise, with respect to being courageous. It also indicates the time of the pre-birth and after that, right? So water people can feel that they are different from the world and people may not understand them. So as a child, water person may feel more closer to the earth element person. So if earth element is a mother, right, and wood element is a father, then water kid may feel more closer to the mother, because earth offers that sense of adaptability, that sense of flexibility, and earth kind of can get along. It's like a cushioning mechanism. It's like a fevicol between the two sandwich, let's say. So water person who is more let's say a little late, or who processes things pretty slowly, may find himself more connected to the earth element mother rather than a wood element father, because wood element represents your optimistic, your driven approach towards life, your enthusiasm towards life, you being pushy towards life, whereas water represents that your approach could be slow, you could be courageous, although you may be competitive from within, you don't want to show it, right? So wood element person may want to wake up early at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. in the morning and want to go for a run, want to make want to stand out of his beliefs and want to prove the world, whereas water person is more of a slowy nature. It's like a water person is a lot more non-linear, right, versus wood person who is a lot more linear into their approaches, right? A lot more practical, a lot more organized. Water person finds their own way, finds their own time to do things, finds their own intuition to do things. They may wake up late, they like to work late in the dark, during the night, because that's the time when they feed from their immense courage, right? So when you have a water person as your child, it's important that you respect their intuition. It's important that you respect their love for darkness. It's important that you respect their being a little secretive, because water is non-restrictive force, right? If you imagine a river, there is no end to the river, right? As far as you can see, there would be no end. And when there is no end, fear is something that could be prominent with respect to water people, with respect to water child. So giving them assurances, giving them that they're going to do good, giving them just that extra bit of little motivation that they're doing well is something which can motivate your child in a much better way, rather than being pushy on them, or being or expecting that they are going to be as pushy and as driven as you, especially if you're a wood element person, right? So that is where the understanding of elements can really help you reconcile your differences or improve your relationships with your family member, because it can give you amazing insights with respect to improving relationships with your family, right? The other aspect, or one of the other stories that I would share with you, is with my dad. And my dad has a very strong metal element, and he can get actually pretty picky at times, and he can also get pretty anxious at times with respect to various things. And because he reacts impulsively. That indicates a sign of his fire energy. But just 2 days back, we went for a family dinner, and so there was a space within the restaurant where we could have sat within the internal setting, versus being in the open, right? And open area, of course, has a better climate, and like a closed area where there were ACs and a lot more public, had a little issues with respect to feeling free or feeling that you're breathing properly, right? So my father was pretty firm that, because the restaurant was pretty full, and my father was pretty firm that we are going to sit in an open area even if we have to wait for 45 minutes, versus in the closed area where we could have got the seat in 10 minutes. But my father was pretty firm that he wants to sit in an open area. Although this thing didn't go well with the rest of my family members, because they wanted to have food immediately within the next 10 minutes if they are getting the seat. But my father was firm that we are going to sit in that open area because we are going to breathe properly. That is nothing but your metal playing into motion, because metal wants a sense of perfection, wants a sense of that extra sense of pride, because metal element represents the archetype of father, and father wants to feel pride, and they want a sense of precision in their approach. And metal by its very nature wants a sense of perfection. So my father demonstrated his behavior. It was nothing but the energy of his metal along with fire playing its role into waiting us for 45 minutes to have dinner. By the way, we enjoyed having the dinner in the open, and we later thanked him as well. But then he reacted impulsively, and that kind of didn't go well initially, but eventually we all landed to be at a better place, of course with a better food. If you get a chance to come to Rishikesh, which is my place, you're going to definitely enjoy a lot here, because it's one of the amazing places with respect to good restaurant. And Rajasthani was a place that we gone by, and I thought that it was truly amazing. I'm not sure within this particular video I have moved my tablet in different places. Now I'm noticing that it was a different place. Let me know if you found it difficult to get some of the features. I'll make sure to update in comments if I have missed to tell something, but observe on my voice, and you'll be able to get things properly. And yes, that was one of the stories that I wanted to share with respect to sharing with you the differences that your elements can possess. So it's important that you understand these differences, and whenever there are certain differences in your family members and you kind of not like it, it's important that you go through one of those videos that I made where I have shared about the 5 elements and the qualities that are there in those 5 elements, and maybe you can then understand things better, and you will be able to ascertain that things happen for a reason, and people don't want to be that particular way that you don't like. It's just that they're displaying the energies of their primary element, and once you understand it, you can mold your kind of behavior according to that, and you can have better peace with why people are behaving a certain way, right? And just for a very small example, at that point I even was angry with my dad, being pretty firm that we are going to sit in the open. But immediately after 2 minutes, I realized that, yeah, he's strong metal and fire, and this is just playing his role, or the energy is just displaying its picture. That is where I understood that, yeah, let's not think about it for too long, because it's just one of the elemental behaviors that he displayed, right? So that was something which I wanted to share with you with respect to this video, and to the reason why you and your family may think differently, and just to focus a little bit more on the elemental qualities. to which you may relate to one more than the other. And if you happen to overlap with the other element, it's truly okay, because we all have 5 elements in our elemental makeup. It's just that one of the element kind of dominates itself and remains or kind of influence more into your personality. So water quality are being wise, being courageous, being fearful. As I mentioned, that water people can feel fear, they can be stubborn, they can be mysterious, they can be dreamy, they can be artistic, because water goes with the flow, as you can imagine the flow of a river. So they want, or they can be amazing artists. This girl, this amazing musician Taylor Swift, has a lot of water into her personality. You can gauge water through her philtrum area, that is the part below the nose and above the upper lip. This particular line below the nose and above the upper lip, it's pretty well defined. This is called the philtrum. She also has strong watery eyes. She also has a very strong fire element into her primary elemental makeup, but water is what makes her pretty creative. So you'll observe a lot more people, a lot more musicians being artists in different spaces. They can be pretty intuitive, they can feel deep, and they can be Reiki masters, they can be healers, because water people have this ability to think pretty deep. So this is one of the strong qualities that they possess. So wood element, if I go to wood qualities, wood people can be pretty optimistic, they can be pretty enthusiastic, they can be pretty driven, active, they can be competitive, they can be pushy, they can be rebellious. Why that happens is, you can imagine kind of a sapling getting ahead from the roots, and when it breaks the earth, right, there is a leaf that you can see, and it requires a lot of effort to break the earth, to break the floor, and grow into a sapling. And that is the energy of the wood, wherein you want to be pushy, you want to prove to the world that you are the best, and that is your strength, right? So it's important that you remain with your element and don't change it, because once you change your element, or you kind of go against it, your life does go out of balance. So it's important that you remain with your element, and also understand that if around you your family has a different element, you respect that, right? So third element is fire element. Fire element represent the quality of being joyful person, being a passionate person, being a dramatic person, flirtatious person. Fire people are naturally great in flirting. So they are somebody who have like an absolute charm with respect to impressing people, and they can be extremely physically appealing as well. They can be very much fun, as fire is. Fire also adds that aspect of seeking attention, and fire people can be great with respect to bringing a lot of ideas in a short span of time. So that also is one of the amazing feature of fire. And people with strong fire element, we can learn to be more joyful with them, right? Earth qualities. Earth element is the fourth element that represents qualities of giving, caring, being pretty helpful. They can be diplomatic with respect to emotions, but the emotion that they primarily display, and which kind of is a challenge for this element, is getting worried. And that is the element which kind of acts as a constant challenge into their life, and they can face issues moving over. And they can be extremely kind as well. And one of the features that you could judge a person's earth from the face is by seeing their cheek padding, which could be pretty heavy, their generous lips, which could be full, and having a big mouth. Those are all strong earth features that you can see from the face. Fifth element is the metal element, which is an archetype of a father. And metal, you can imagine, is a sword, and sword is pretty precise in itself. It is pretty shiny in itself. It is pretty accurate in itself. And metal qualities are qualities that represent sensitiveness, that represents that a person is pretty much self-aware, pretty much self-critical, and also criticizes others. That is one of the qualities that you'll observe in metal people, that they can be critical of others. And you'll observe people who do a lot of commentary on football, cricket, or on any sport, that they require being critical into their work style. So you'll find a lot of metal into their personality. And on the face, how you can see metal is when you have a less flesh on the face, or kind of a skinny face. That is one of the strong mark of seeing a metal person. The other thing, what you can notice is their features on the face are pretty far, which means their eyebrows could be pretty far, or their eyes, the distance between both of the eye sets could be pretty far, or their features could be pretty clean, right? So all those aspects you can see metal playing its role. They can be pretty visionary as well. They can be arrogant, of course, because they want to be perfect. Arrogant and being proud is something that comes naturally to them. So these are some of the qualities that I wanted to share with you, so that you can relate more of them with respect to people around you, with respect to your family, with respect to your parents. But most important part is to understand and realize that you and your family member may possess different element than what you possess yourself, right? Or what your primary element is. So it's important, if your family member is of a different element, you respect that particular element and change your approach accordingly, right? And then interact, because being in a certain specific mold and expecting that people are going to be the way you are or the way your element is, it's only going to be disastrous for your relationship with them, right? So appreciate, embrace, just understand that your relationship with them is unique, special, and it's important that people within the family have different elements, because different element people, they bring in different qualities, bring in different sense of cheer to the family, cheer and abundance to the family, and that's what makes the family, right? So if I were to speak of my family, I have strong water, my mother has strong earth and metal, my father has strong metal and fire and a slight wood, and my sister has a lot of metal, right? So within our family we are pretty much different, and I'm sure that within your family as well there are differences in your element, because when you have differences in element, that is what colors your life and your family members' life. So appreciate those differences and learn to love them the way they are, because if you love them the way they are going to love you back. Right, so for this particular video, I'm pretty much done. And if you want to learn more about face reading, you can head to my website, chehraspeaks.com, where not only you will be able to get access to learn face reading, you can also have access to me, where on this particular page you can see this particular lining, get your face reading. It will redirect you to my business WhatsApp, and you can just see the web page. These are the reviews, and this is a segment in the web page where you can access my face reading masterclass, where I have shared the basics about face reading, the 19 facial traits, the power of 5 elements, how it plays its part into your life and how it can make your life better. These are reviews of my clients. This is the place where I went to deliver my face reading discourse here at Rishikesh Yokulam. There they teach yoga. I went in for a session for face reading and I enjoyed with them. I hope that they have also enjoyed with me learning face reading. So this is a site that you can scroll through, and also you can access some of the free videos that are available. And if you're interested, you can definitely go ahead and purchase the course. It's only of $39 as of now, and it's a combination of 2 courses in one, so you're going to learn a lot for sure. But if you don't want to, then also it's okay, because we are here in this YouTube journey together, and I'm going to share as much as I can with you to help you empower your face reading journey, right? So bye bye for now, take care. I enjoyed making this video. Let me know in the comment section what sorts of video you want to have, because you will give me ideas I hope that God enables me to execute those ideas, right? So yeah, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care. Have an awesome day ahead and like the video if you think it was of help.